about spiritual identity theft. You know, identity theft is a terrible epidemic in our society, and it's really when a crook takes your information, like your social security number and your information, and they use it, your identity, to acquire money, loans, credit cards, and they reap the benefits of it and spend the money and then leave you with the bill and the mess. And it's quite a terrible thing. But spiritual identity theft is far worse than any kind of theft you can experience in this world, because the Bible says that the thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. Satan is the biggest thief of all, and he wants to replace what God's identity for you is with labels and stigmas and names that the world gives you. In fact, Jacob understood that better than anybody from the Old Testament. Jacob was born a twin with Esau. Hebrew culture, the firstborn son got all the birthright blessing, the firstborn blessing, all the benefits, all the power of in the family, so to speak. And when he was born, guess what? He was born second. In fact, the Bible says when he was coming out of his mother's womb, he was reaching for his brother's heel. He was on the heels of a blessing, but he always fell short of the brass ring. Even though he reached, he came in second rate, second class, just never being able to get ahead. And he is given a name, Jacob, in Hebrew, which means deceiver and trickster. He grows up and he has this label on him, attachment of being a trickster and deceiver, and sadly, he lives up to it. He tricks his daddy. He puts animal skins on his arm. He cooks a bowl of venison, smells like the field, and he convinces Isaac that he's his elder brother Esau to steal the birthright blessing. But Jacob, I want to say something to you today. Everybody out there who had a preordained purpose, not that God decides who will and won't be saved before they're born, but God gave you a purpose before you were born, and you're given grace in life to search it out, to find it. If you find it, you'll walk in fulfillment. If you don't, you'll be miserable. You'll search for fulfillment and purpose and relationships and money and education and drugs, maybe even one relationship to the next. But Jacob finally had this wrestling match with this angel. In fact, the Bible says that when they wrestled at the end, the angel, when he touched the hollow of his thigh, he said, your name's no longer Jacob. You're not going to go by what people have called you and people have labeled you and people have named you. Your name is now Israel, meaning a prince having power with God. Wow, Satan had stole his identity his whole life. I don't know how long he'd been living as Jacob, making mistakes, making bad choices, not knowing who he really was, not knowing his identity. But thank God one day he had a wrestling match with an angel, and the angel told him, this is who God says you are. Your name is Israel. It's no longer Jacob. That's what your parents and your family may have called you, but I just want to remind you, Jacob, you didn't come from your parents. You came through your parents. You have a preordained purpose. And in fact, in Romans 9, I'll prove it to you. Listen to this. Romans 9 and verse 10, God said to Rebekah, which was Jacob and Esau's mother, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. It was said unto her, listen, it was said to her before they were born, verse 12, Romans 9:12, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Wow. Jacob, there were some things that God said about you before you were ever born. Now you can either choose to search out what God said you were and be that person and find fulfillment and purpose, or you can choose to grow up and allow the things and the relationships and the people that you experience in time to determine who you are and destroy and steal who you were decided before time. Don't let the things in time change who you were determined to be before time. And so, Jacob, you've been a subject of spiritual identity theft. But thank God, before they were ever born, before either Jacob or Esau had done any evil, God said some things about Jacob. And so my question to you is, how long are you going to let the people that have labeled you steal your purpose, steal your identity? People have called you, maybe they've called you fat, worthless, incompetent, incapable, uneducated, I don't know what you've been labeled in life. Maybe you've been labeled as a loser. Can I speak to your heart today and just say, don't allow those people to define you. Allow the God that knew you before you were ever born, like he said to Jeremiah, before I formed thee in your mother's womb, I knew thee, I ordained you, and I sanctified you. You have a preordained purpose, and God gave you enough grace to search out who he said you would be before you ever were born. So here today, don't suffer from identity crisis, but wrestle like Jacob until you find out who God says you are and remove that old identity that the enemy tried to give you. If we're not Facebook friends, click my name up there, send a friend request, and please take time to share this on your wall and be an encouragement to somebody. God bless you. Have a great day.